Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'll be going over my 4th round game from the 2023 US Go Congress from Kent, Ohio. If you didn't see my last game / review for the 3rd round, it was quite the game. It was the kind of game I'm comfortable with because there's lots of fighting, but how we got there in the end in that game, I was not too pleased with. So coming into the 4th round, and this is true for every Congress, the week is split into the first half, which has 3 games, and then in the middle day, which is Wednesday, is an off day. And some people choose to see the sights around the city that the Congress is in, or do whatever they want. Or people choose to play in a one-day tournament. And sometimes I play in that one-day tournament, sometimes I don't. This year I decided to walk around Kent, Ohio, and the weather wasn't perfect, but it was still nice to get out of the Congress and kind of refresh my mind heading into the second half of the week. So I had a refresher, and I was ready to come in the next day for my 4th round and play Justin Teng. Now, Justin Teng is pretty famous in the AGA for doing a lot, especially for the youth stuff. So I'm sure you've heard of the name before. Obviously, he's a very strong 6-dan. And I'm sure we have played online at some point, whether we are aware of it or not. But this is the first time I have played Justin in a serious tournament setting. So let's see how the game went. And my main goal was to not play as crazily as I did in the last game. I wanted to keep things under control. So yeah, I'm playing as white and my opponent is black. And I do double 3-4. Usually I do this, but just on a whim decided, let's just play double 3-4. And black plays here. And part of me really wanted to play this again. And if black had attached, which black usually does nowadays, do this one. And this is, if you saw my 2nd round game, this should look very familiar. I kind of like this Joseki now, regardless of how black plays it. I kind of like this as white, but because of the traumatic experience I had with it in the 2nd game, I decided, let's just take points. So play here, and then back off. This is Joseki, and usually black plays a move on the side, but black goes all the way. So black's giving me another chance. Okay, if I want to, let's pincer, and black doesn't even have the extension from the lower right 3 stone, so it's calling out to me. But I just said, okay, I'll just take the points again. And even though black does get a nice formation on the right side, I still get Sente. The right side is still invadable / has Aji, and my corners are pretty solid points. So I was happy with this. And then invade 3-3. In this position, it is a symmetrical position, so it doesn't really matter where you go, as long as it's probably somewhere on the left side. So play 3-3. Black blocks this way. This makes sense. Usually it doesn't really matter as much what direction you block, but if this sort of variation happened, you can see black's 3 stones are limited by white's lower right group there. And even if black does the Joseki where you switch directions, like this, something like this at least, the problem is white has this ladder here. So it's not a perfect capture for black. You would like to have the ladder at least. And even white might just block here and cut like this. And again, you can't capture the stone in a ladder. So regardless of how you play, white's going to have maybe not an advantage on the outside, but at least is doing okay. So normal, just making a wall, isn't good direction. You don't have the ladder in the upper side. So in this case, it makes sense. Okay, black has the stone at d16. Let's block this way. Very, very rarely nowadays does it super matter which way to block, but in this case, I think it is pretty important which way black blocks. Play here, and then black fixes. This all makes sense. Again, these sides for white, the top and the bottom, because of how low 03 and 017 respectively are, white really doesn't want to build that direction, and neither does black. So in this case, it's actually the biggest side is the left side. Make sure black can't get it. And white's fine here. It looks like black has all the stones nearby and white is jumping in, but it's so wide and white's nearby groups are so safe that it's not like white's going to get under severe danger here. So then black goes here. During the game, I thought this was interesting direction because, again, white doesn't really want to build this because it's so low. It's so low. So I was expecting a move like this, right? Push white towards your thickness, and if white plays here or something, then black could come out or do something, right? Make some shape, get some forcing moves. But when you do this directly, I don't have to respond on the bottom. Again, these groups on the bottom are so solid, so I can get the first move on the left side. So I think black really needs to pincer here. I don't think after the pincer, white's going to play from this direction. Again, this direction for white, it's not that great. You might feel like this is okay, but when black plays their next move somewhere here, you'll notice, oh, the bottom is actually not that big. They can even still be reduced. So yeah, so I don't think, I definitely was not going to play here next, I guess is what I'm saying. But because black played here, it gives me a chance to make a base. And so a normal move to make a base would be to just extend the 2. But it's gote. Black could go elsewhere. Black could finish off the bottom side with the shoulder hit. And this would just be a different game. This is probably playable for both sides. Can't say much about this. But I really wanted Sente because if I could get Sente, if we assume that's Sente and black has to answer, then when I play here, black has to add some move here. And you can see this stone here. Not that it's in a terrible spot because it is threatening h3 or so next. You might want it to be a little faster. You might want it to be a little faster. So that's why in the game I attach. So whenever you want Sente, attach. Not that it is 100% Sente, but if we imagine black goes elsewhere, I don't really get a huge follow-up next in the corner. Like even if I play this one, black can just Hane either way. And yeah, black doesn't lose too much, especially if black can get a move elsewhere. But by attaching, if black goes elsewhere, now my follow-up is more severe. It is putting direct pressure on the corner. And if white can get all of this, now black's corner has some weakness in it. So yeah, I was looking for Sente, so I assumed, okay, well, black's options are what, Hane? Oops, 1 second. Or what, Hane? And Hane I would extend. And if, again, black really wants to add another move. Again, it's hard to say which one is definitively better, connecting or descending. But notice it would be as if I got c12 and black answered. Because that's the move I would end up getting. Like this, right? c12. And black has to answer. So then I could come back and play a move like this. And something like this would continue. Now, it's not as if black's not gaining anything with this. Black is solidifying the corner. But that's the give and take that I'm willing to make. I'm willing to allow black to get a more solid corner in exchange for me getting a more solid left side and Sente. Now, that's not black's only move. Black can stand up. If black stands up, I would stand up with black. And again, this isn't directly sente, but it does leave some big hanes if black were to go elsewhere. Hane here, and even just connect like this. It's a pretty solid left side. And there's other ways for white to handle this even. So this hane and connect solidifies the left side and leaves cuts, clamps, a lot of things for black to think about. And in some cases, white can even just start like this and create a ko shape. Don't start it right now. You don't really have ko threats, but later white can start a ko there. So yeah. So yeah, that's why I attach. And of course, black, being the strong player that they are, knows all this. So black doesn't give me what I want. But I really was not expecting this. I thought black had to answer somehow. But once I saw this move, I was like, okay, that does make sense. Now, it does allow me to get this hane, which is big. But after this, I kind of just have to connect back. Like, if I connect here to fight, obviously here, white is weaker than black. So I kind of have to play here next. Black plays there. Just connect. And then here, yeah, this is a very sharp move for black. If you just like play here, yeah, it's a sharp move, but actually maybe this one is slightly better because in the game what happens is go here and then like this. Or sorry, like this. I guess, so what I'm trying to say is if black goes here and I play here, black's not going to do this push. At least not immediately. And if I just connect, like, while I have this solid wall, it's not really doing a whole lot for white. So maybe the wedge is okay, I'm not sure. When black played it, though, it surprised me. I said, okay, Atari and fix. So yeah, in a lot of cases you would do this one. But I didn't like black getting this peep, which helps some connection stuff here. And then diving. But I think it's just fine. Either one. And here I thought black would peep. And then dive under. Like this. This dive move is very important. And it comes up a lot. If you imagine corner shamaris. So like let's say I had gone here. A lot of times you want to, after whatever your opponent does and they're starting to come out, you definitely want to add this kind of knights move just so you don't get sealed in. Just so you don't want to get sealed in. So you'll see this move a lot in Stronger's player games. Even if it might not seem big, it is quite big to get. So this is the same idea as peep and then here. It's the same idea as this. It's connecting black's groups. It's making sure black doesn't get sealed in. So yeah. And here this would be fine for both sides, I think. But black peeps. And this peep white kind of has to answer because black has a ladder here. Right? The stone is a ladder breaker. So this one I have to connect. But when black goes here, black wants me to connect. Then black would probably do this. And then white shape is not so good. But similarly to how when I went here, I was trying to force black to play in a way that helps me. As the opponent, you really have to try to refute whatever your opponent's trying to do. So here, black knows what white is trying to do, so black is trying their best to refute that. So black goes here. So same thing here. I know exactly what black's trying to do with this move. So how can I refute it? So I push. Now, the thing with peeps, and I always say this, is peeps are made to be played and forgotten. All you're doing is creating aji. You're probing. You're seeing how your opponent's going to answer. So, like if white goes here, okay. White's connected. Black shouldn't like connect here. This is not a good move. The peeps were made just to see how white would answer. You're not trying to create a group with them. But when white goes here, white hasn't fully protected. So usually you ignore. And even here, I would still think about just sliding here. If white wants to spend a move to do this, it would be as if this happened. Black went here, and white does this. Not a terrible move by white, but a little slow. A little slow. Right. So when black goes here, and black ignores, I can go here. So you can see it's more efficient for white than just connecting. If I do this one, if I just connect, and let's say Hane, which one's more efficient? Nope, not that one. Not that one. It's one of these. Here we go. Which one's more efficient for white, right? This one, white stones are a lot more efficient than here. Because white hasn't spent a move to directly fix at E11. So, when white goes here, black cuts. And you might be like, oh, well, white's going to lose the 5, or a big fight will happen, right? Like, white can't do this. White is split, and black is alive on each side. That's why, in the game, I just give them up. Because what was the whole goal with splitting here? The whole goal was to put pressure in the lower left. So notice, even though I lose these 5 stones, or at least they get surrounded, I should say, Hane is big, and then play here, and then descend. And notice black's group here. It's not weak by any means, but black does have to be careful with this group. So black even turns double Hane. Again, black's very weak here. So, yeah, black has to be careful. Black can't cut here and fight because black's going to get captured with this move here. Attach, wedge, Atari, take Atari, and capture. Like that. So black has to connect, or play here, and then play off, and then I even get the next move. So in the game, I play here. This is a probe. Yeah, just now that I know black wants to capture these, black's going to play differently because of that. Because right now, I could pull them out at some point. But here, I'm just asking, okay, what are you going to do, black? Because there's also cuts here black has to worry about. That directly don't work, but if white gets more stones in the area, the cuts on the second line could be a problem for black. So black bumps there. And then I ask again. And so here, I feel like I'm in control. Because I'm playing the kind of go that I like, where I actually like giving up stones. One, because sacrificing gives me joy for some reason. I like giving up stones. And 2, it's just when you have dead stones, you have better co-threats. Your opponent has problems. Or I shouldn't say your opponent has problems, but if the stones are on the board, even though if they're surrounded, they're not off the board, so they still have a lot of Aji. So even though these 5 stones are cut off, they have so much Aji. They have so much Aji. So black has to be careful. So it's like a landmine almost. Where, okay, black, you can defuse it, but you have to spend time and effort to defuse it to make sure it doesn't backfire against you. So, and doing all these probes, right? I like these kind of moves because I can just give them up. And again, I like playing this way. Black plays there, and then cap. And the point of this cap is, even though it looks like, oh, I'm giving black good shape, I'm actually jumping down next. Now, I think I should just extend here. I think this is a more normal way of playing. And then if black plays here, I can still cap. But I was okay with giving black the tiger's mouth because of my gain at the bottom, and the corner is pretty solid. And then black Atari'd here. So this move has pros and cons for black. But I think the cons for black outweigh the pros. So black is trying to prevent me from getting some sort of connection here. Like this. So that's why black Atari'd. But the problem is when black Ataris, black starts to get weaknesses on the outside. Like before, like let's say even this move. If I peep here, black has no problems here, right? Because when I wedge in, it's just Atari, and there's no problems. But after black Ataris, notice now, like, not that black would play here now, but now this peep is real. This peep actually works because F3, if you notice, F3 is peeping a one-space jump, and black forced me to play that move. So I was happy black went here. So again, there's pros and cons. Black's preventing me from connecting in Sente, or just connecting in general, because it's true I can't connect now, because this is an Atari now. But again, like, I don't think black should care about that. I don't think white would do that immediately anyway, so. Black plays here. Yep, hanging connection. Atari. Play here. Attach. Push. Yep, that's go threat. Push again. Take like that. And yeah, here I should fight this Ko now. So one, I should just fight this Ko. I kind of back off, but what's nice about capturing the stone here is that now I'm 100% alive, even if black wins the Ko. So let's say, for example, I cut here. Not that black would give it up immediately, but if black were to give it up, sorry, even I can do this one. Like, I'm still alive here because I could capture a stone here. All right, like this. No problem. Yeah, it's just white's alive. White's alive as is. So I should really fight this Ko, especially after I take. It only makes sense to connect if I needed to live. But because I've made an eye, basically two eyes here, I should just because in the game I connect like this. But since I'm already alive, I should actually fight this Ko. Again, the whole point of these 5 stones here was to get Ko threats. And there's a lot of Ko threats here. There's a lot of Ko threats. So black has to be careful. Black has to be careful. And again, even if black can capture here, I'm alive in the corner. So I don't need to be so scared here. But I connect because my idea was, oh, black's still not any closer to being alive. Well, maybe marginally more alive, but so black jumps. And here, this will save me a lot of problems if I just Atari here or do something to prevent this move. Because obviously, this move's too slack. It's too slack. Even, why not play at the shape point? This will change a lot in the future of this game. But I just jump here. And this was one of my, like, 5-second moves. And to reiterate, the time in this game is an hour and a half both sides. And so to only use 10 seconds in a major fight, that's like really bad. That's really bad time usage. So especially in a crucial fight like this is when you need to use most of your time. Is now. So yeah, I didn't even not sure if these are good or not, but I didn't even consider this move or something faster like this. I just played the one space jump. So of course black peeps and then jumps. But here I'm like, okay, you got some shape problems here. You got peeps, you got clamps, you got more peeps. But it turns out just everything is okay for black. Now, if white had gone here, completely different story. Everything I'm about to show works so much better if the board's like this. Now again, black's not going to play in the same way because black's going to read that it works for white. But this is once again where I'm a strong player if I can stay consistent for the whole game. But a lot of games are thrown by me because I, at the most crucial moments, blunder. So, for example, in my last game, if you didn't see it, not that it was game-ending blunder, but I did fail a, 15Q life and death? just from playing too fast. Playing too fast. So I gotta really buckle down in the most important moments, which is the biggest fight in the game, and really clean that up. So, yeah. So in the game, I clamp. Because I'm like, okay, well, if you block, I'll Atari. Okay, that's simple. If you go here, and like this, you block here. Oh, well, when I stand up, you got two weaknesses. If you connect, peep. You're cut off. Yeah, if white just connects, peep, and peep again. So you can see there's a lot of problems for black. But of course, what I wasn't reading was the one sequence that works for black. So black goes here, and I'm like, okay, what are you doing? I just showed you this doesn't work. You can't do this. But black showed me his more powerful reading. So again, I can't cut yet, so I need to extend liberties. But in my mind, I'm like, what are you doing? You have to connect. If you don't connect, I can double Atari here. So what is black planning? But the game, black. Well, I peep here first, because at this point I've read it out. I'm like, oh, this doesn't work for me. So I played here, kind of like, again, in the last game, where I made a blunder, and it kind of tilted me, and so I just started poking in my opponent's area. This is very similar. But I have to save these, because at least black doesn't make eyes. But the key here is black can just connect. Black doesn't need to connect here yet, and allow me to double Atari. Black can connect here, and because of this one space jump, even though it looks like, oh, well, black gets captured, I only have two liberties, and black nets me. And so again, not that black would play in the same way, but if I had the stone here, notice this move would work, because after this, I don't have any liberty problems. So if you connect, cut, and if you connect here, simple cut, and notice black can't capture these three stones anymore. Again, he would play differently, but this at least means black doesn't get this very nice one space jump here. There. So I have to save these, and I do play here, so this is a nice save, if you will. Because at least here, my shape is very good. So here I'm threatening a ko or sealing black in. Black plays here, still threatening the ko. The ko is Atari and connect here. But this ko, white has more ko threats. Again, that's why I like giving up stones, is because you get ko threats from them. But black knows that, so black goes here. Poke out the eye. Atari, or cut. Black just takes Ataris and then seals. And so now I'm cut off on the left side. But black has problems on the outside. So here, believe it or not, I wasn't too panicky, believe it or not, even though I have only 3 liberties. Because Hane cut. This is to prevent, if black wanted to, after this, black could Hane here and just give up a few stones and seal off the left side. Like, this would be disastrous for white, because I haven't gained much with these center stones. So that's why I get this Hane in, and it's a free move. Black goes there. Now I cut and extend and then play here. So in the game, I thought there was no actual way to run these out. I thought there was no actual way to run these out. But my opponent thought there was. And we spent quite a while looking at this. So for example, if black goes here, can white capture either the 2 stones or 3 stones? And this is the move to start with for white. Here we looked at this for like 10 minutes. Now this was a few weeks ago at this point when we looked at this, so I can't remember every sequence, but going back through this game, it feels like how can black refute this? Because during our review that we had it so that white couldn't capture either side. Because here there's a ladder like this. Like this. This goes to the white stone. And so, like, what else can black do? If black fixes that, I just take. And now these stones get captured. Yeah. Maybe extend here and, like, something like this. But white actually has quite a few liberties. So black needs more than 4. So again, I can't remember what the moves were to make it work for black. But after like 10 minutes of review, peer review with each other, we did conclude that black doesn't need a stone here. So if black can go here, then obviously black wins. But black fixed. And so this allowed me to descend, which is Sente. This is a very nice move. A lot of players think, oh, let's just Atari. But notice this is still a false eye because black can, or at least black can poke out the eye if black got to play A9. Playing here still threatens to capture. Now the question is, do you know how to capture? If you just Atari, doesn't do much for you, like this. But if you throw in first, this forces black to play on A12, which if you notice, takes away one of black's liberties. So, aka this is Sente. Now usually you play this one. This way white gets no co-threats. White gets no co-threats. And if I had played the correct move coming up, this would matter a lot. But in the game, black goes here. So again, every move has pros and cons. Black's looking to be efficient with if I connect here and white extends here, then the corner is looking alive-ish, I'll say. There's a lot of bad Aji if black has to go here and do this. Like this. There's cuts here. There's peeps here. And yeah, it's basically there's a lot of bad Aji. So black's thinking, okay, I'll be efficient. And play this one, which you can see is putting more pressure on the corner. But if I had played correctly, this would be a pretty big mistake because it gives white so many more co-threats. So I'll show you the move I should play. And again, this was very similar to this one space jump at K7. In the most crucial moment, I play the first move that comes to my head. And this, almost every Congress is like one game or one move that haunts me the most. Believe it or not, that game, or the move from the last game, the third round game, while probably more embarrassing because it's a strict life and death, it wasn't game ending even if black lived. But this one is like, it's going to haunt me because this is like difference between me being able to win or lose this game is my next move. Or my ability to win or lose this game. So I have to live somehow. So in the game, I played this one. Again, this looks like the shape point because it makes me an eye here and here. So I'm alive. Yay. But it allows black to go here. Now again, to paint the picture here, I have given up a lot in the center here. Because black was able to cut. These two stones are getting cut off. So I really need to make something happen in the lower left. So the way to do that is to Hane here. Now again, I don't know what I was thinking, but I was like, oh, but black can take away my eye. That can't be good. But what I was missing was that this move is an Atari. This is what I was missing in my quick calculations, is this move is an Atari. So black clamps, Atari, has to connect, push down. Again, black can't go here. Has to go here. But then I can take like this, and it's a ko. Now remember when I said black made a mistake when black played here? Yeah, this means I get, let's just count the threats. 1, 2, although this might give black a threat, so that one might not count, but 2, 3, even this one's a threat, 4, 5. Again, maybe black would ignore these, but being able to capture these two would be quite good. but this one's 1. So I get 4 or 5, maybe 6 threats here. Comparing to if black had connected here, then I don't even get this cut as a threat. So I would only get the 2 on the outside. So yeah, so that ko would be good for me. If this happens, and now I get to move, now I am 100% alive, and look at black's life and death here. Black goes here. I play this one. This is important in terms of ko threats. Black has to connect here, and then I block. And again, once again, we have a ko here. Yes, we have a ko. Whether black goes here or here, it's the same. Or sorry, here or here. White fills. We get this kind of ko here. And again, because of how black played, so black has this ko threat. Okay, I get this threat. Take. Black gets this threat. Play here. Atari. Here. Take. Black can push as a ko threat, okay. So you can see I get a lot of ko threats here because of how black played in the upper side. Now the annoying thing is after this Atari, black gets a lot of ko threats. But again, I actually have a lot here. So again, does black ignore this one? Because black winning this ko is... Black just takes 4 points and I could take like this. Or even I think I can stand up here. Potentially. It would not be as good if black can just Atari like this after. But does black ignore this one? Now again, black does have a lot of threats here, but I'm going to get something in return. Like, I'm going to get what I can... This is also a threat. Throw in. Back descends. Like so. So black has 2 more threats. So again, that means I can like cut here as a ko threat. Oops. And if black fills the ko... Oh, sorry, black has 3 more ko threats. Like, I can gain a lot back. But basically, because it's a ko, I can get something. I can get something at least. And one other thing, and this might be partially the problem, is my opponent was low on time, so maybe I was trying to play too much the kind of the time game. Trying to be like, okay, I'll play quickly, so they have less time to think because they could think on my time. So what happens in the game is after this, I play here, black plays there. If I do this one, the difference now is I'm not alive now. And the semi looks tough. I'll just say that. I'm very low on liberties. So I have to play here, but it gives black this move, which looks okay. Take. Black Ataris. Play a ko. Again, I'm like, well, I got ko threats, so play there. Black pushes, but I play here. I gotta get this move because my idea is, okay, well, if you connect, which he takes once, peep, and then goes there, okay, I can falsify this eye here. And I should at least do that. I should at least go here first if that's my plan. Or again, do this and then block if I think I can kill this. But the problem is this looks like I'm falsifying the eye, but again, ko threat. Black can take back here and it's a double ko. So what happens is, as opposed to getting a ko where I can get 2 moves somewhere, I end up winning this ko, but it means I live in gote. Whereas in the other position, I live in sente and can play a ko threat somewhere. Or not a ko threat, but I can play somewhere else. So black gets to live in sente, and yeah, that's pretty painful. Black gets to poke here. And at this point, I basically know the results. And I was okay with how I was playing in this game. It was just the 1 space jump in the center that was just kind of lackadaisical, not really doing much. Could put more pressure on. I should at least fix. This would solve a lot of my problems. And the move that will haunt my dreams for a while is this one. Again, it looks like the shape point, but this keeps the game exciting. After this, like, I play more moves, but black just has too big of a lead because N2 is very painful. So I get my follow-up here, but black can push through and poke, even capture there. I gotta play at the top, but black reduces me in the corner. Have to add a stone to live. Black just reduces me. Now black's surrounding the center. Black plays here. This is Sente if I don't want to die, but I'm like, I just gotta go elsewhere. Like a resign sequence, if you will. Extend. The point of extend is so I can get this clamp into this connection. If I just clamp, black will take, or even wedge. No, black would just take. And now this move is in Sente. And you see I didn't lose anything because I played a move on the inside, but black had to respond on the inside. So clamp, play there. I come in. I don't even think this works because black can go here and push. But then black says, well, there's stuff that's bigger. So do that. And then black killed me. And I want to be done with this game, so I was okay with that. But yeah, a game that I was very happy with early on. Just made a couple mistakes, and that's one of the things I've noticed climbing through the ranks is you get less leeway to make mistakes. Back when I was a lower Dan, I could make a couple mistakes, few mistakes in a game, and still have a chance to come back. But these mid to high Dans, they're pretty good at catching your mistakes, it turns out. So yeah, I ended up resigning here. Means I'm 2-2 in the tournament, and the refresher I took on the day off maybe helped a little bit, but didn't mean I played a perfect, not even a perfect move game, because obviously I'm going to make mistakes, but just like a perfect mentality game. So yeah, pretty frustrated, but again, if you focus too much on the bad, you're going to overlook the things you did good, and I think it's a good mentality to not only focus on what's bad, obviously that's what you can improve, and that's how you can improve, but thinking about all aspects, whether the good and the bad, is good. So looking back now that I've had some weeks to digest, like, I'm pretty happy with this game. It was just, again, the two moves that really stood out and that really stung. So yeah, if you have any questions about this game, please let me know, and I'll see you all in the next video.